During a family dinner with my parents, I received a text from an unfamiliar number. Get up and leave now. Don't say anything to your parents. I chose to obey the message. And that's how I found out the truth. The next day, there were police cars parked in front of my parents' house. But what still haunts me is how normal everything felt right before it broke. I hadn't expected warmth or hugs. But I wasn't ready for what actually unfolded. Something so rehearsed, it felt like a trap dressed as tradition. When life appears normal, you let your guard down. And that's when it sinks its teeth in. I pulled into my parents' driveway around 6:12 p.m. The porch light was already on, even though there was still light in the sky. Through the front window, I saw silhouettes moving. My brother crossing the living room, my mom setting something down on the table. The door creaked open before I could knock. "Samantha," my mom called from the kitchen. "You're just in time. Come in." Her voice had that overly sweet edge, the one she used when company was over or when she needed something from me. I stepped inside. My dad stood halfway from his chair when I entered the dining room, like he wasn't sure if we were hugging now or still doing nods. We nodded. I kept walking. Ethan was already at the table, scrolling through his phone, wearing that same blank expression he'd perfected since high school. He gave me a 2-second glance and went back to his screen. I didn't care. I wasn't here to win anyone's attention. The dining table was perfectly arranged, napkins folded into triangles, dishes steaming. My seat had already been pulled out for me. I paused. That never happened before. A glass of blueberry lemonade was sitting at my place. Same kind I used to drink when I was 15. "Still like blueberry, right?" my mom asked from the kitchen, not looking back. I hesitated, then nodded. I hadn't had it in years, but now wasn't the time to explain. We sat down. Plates were passed around. Chicken breast with rosemary, mashed potatoes, sautéed zucchini. It was the kind of meal that looked homey, smelled right, but felt wrong. Conversation stayed breezy. "How's work, Sam? Still in the same apartment? Traffic's been a nightmare lately, huh?" I smiled, answered, laughed, when Ethan joked about someone at his office falling asleep on a Zoom call. Not because it was funny, but because I knew how to play my part. The calm one, the reliable one, the one who didn't ask for too much. And then, in the middle of my dad's usual complaint about local taxes, my phone buzzed in my lap. I glanced down, half distracted. The message had no name, no punctuation fluff. "Get up and leave now. Don't say anything to your parents." I blinked. Then I read it again. Around me, forks scraped plates. My mom chuckled. Ethan mumbled something about NFTs. It all played like an ordinary scene. But I knew, this wasn't ordinary anymore. I didn't move, not right away. I stared at the message, my thumb trembling slightly over the screen. A dozen explanations flickered through my head. Spam, a prank, a wrong number. But deep down, something inside me had already decided. This wasn't random. This wasn't a joke. I felt it in my stomach. Quiet, cold certainty. "I'll be right back," I said, pushing my chair away gently. My mom barely looked up. "Sure, honey." I took my phone and walked upstairs. Not to the guest bathroom near the kitchen. I went to the one off the hallway, the one with a door that actually locked and a fan loud enough to muffle a whisper. I closed it, turned the deadbolt, sat on the edge of the tub, and stared at the screen again. "Get up and leave now. Don't say anything to your parents." Then I tapped call. The line rang once, then twice, and then a voice, low and rushed. "You're still there?" My heart jumped. "Who is this?" "It's Nate," he said. I blinked. Nate, Ethan's old roommate. From when he was at Skagit Tech. That name, Skagit Tech, clicked into place. 2 years ago, the guy who helped Ethan move out during finals. I barely remembered him. "What's going on?" I asked, my voice whisper quiet. "Why are you texting me? What is this?" His voice was tight, like he was speaking into a phone cupped in his sleeve. "Samantha, listen to me. You need to get out of that house. Just walk out. Don't drink anything." My eyes dropped to the memory of the glass on the table. Blueberry lemonade, untouched. "What's in the drink?" I asked, my throat suddenly dry. "I don't know. Alcohol, maybe something stronger." I saw a message on Ethan's laptop. He left it open during a group call yesterday. They're trying to get into your phone. Why? I asked, more out of habit than confusion. My mind was already racing ahead. They think you have access to your legal funds. The settlement. I froze. That wasn't public. Only my attorney, the court, and a few close contacts knew. My family only ever guessed. I never confirmed anything. How do you know this? I whispered. I wasn't supposed to see it, Nate admitted. Ethan left his iCloud tab open. There were notes, password guesses, security questions. A plan, I repeated. The word felt heavy. To drug you. Use your fingerprint to unlock your phone. Get what they need. Make it look like an accident. Like you just passed out. My chest tightened. You're serious? I wouldn't risk calling if I wasn't. Samantha, please. Just walk out. Say you need to take a call. Say you feel sick. Anything. Just don't drink the juice. Don't trust them. And don't go back downstairs. I sat there, staring at the tile floor. I haven't touched it yet, I said. A beat of silence. Good. Then you still have time. He hung up. And for a moment, I just sat in that bathroom, knees together, heart pounding, the world outside my door carrying on like nothing had changed. But it had, and now I had a choice to make. I didn't leave the bathroom right away. I needed time to breathe, to think, but more than that, I needed to remember how I'd gotten here. Because what Nate said, a plan, wasn't born overnight. It started years ago, in a house just like this, with people who looked me in the eye and called it love. There were only two of us growing up, me and Ethan. 6 years apart. I was the quiet one, the mature one. Which meant I was the one expected to clean up the messes. When we were kids, our parents gave us $5 every Saturday. I saved mine. Ethan blew his within hours, candy, baseball cards, whatever caught his eye. And then the conversations would start. He's just a kid, Samantha. You still have yours. Don't be selfish. So I shared, not because I wanted to, but because it was always easier than fighting the guilt. That became the pattern. If he failed a test, I was the tutor. If he wrecked his bike, I gave up mine. If he didn't have money for something, they looked to me. In high school, I got a part-time job at a local bookstore. I wanted to buy my own laptop for college, but by the end of the summer, that money went toward Ethan's first cell phone plan. He really needs it, my mom had said. And you're so responsible with money. It's just for a little while. It never was just for a little while. When I left for college in Portland, I thought distance would protect me. I was wrong. The requests just came through new channels, calls, texts, voicemails full of Samantha, your brother's struggling or you know how expensive school is now. I paid for Ethan's enrollment deposit. His books, even covered rent once when he couldn't make the deadline. All from my own entry-level salary working help desk security at a tech firm. Not once did they say thank you. Not once did Ethan ask me directly. He always went through them, like a favor passed through middlemen. The turning point came when I finally got promoted. My salary doubled. My parents didn't congratulate me. They asked if I'd consider sponsoring Ethan's semester abroad in Prague. That was the first time I said no. Not dramatically, not with a speech. I just didn't reply. The silence that followed wasn't passive. It was punishment. My mom stopped texting. My dad unfollowed me on social media. Ethan didn't even acknowledge my birthday. I should have seen it then, how little it took for them to pull away. And yet, when the dinner invite came last week, it felt like hope. Maybe they've moved on, I told myself. Maybe they've accepted I'm not their backup wallet anymore. But now, sitting on the edge of the tub, phone still warm in my hand, I knew better. They hadn't moved on. They'd just changed strategies. And this time, they didn't want a favor. They wanted full access. I unlocked the bathroom door and stood still for a moment, listening. Downstairs, I heard forks scraping against plates. Ethan's voice rising faintly in mock annoyance. Something about how Dad always overcooked chicken. My mom's laugh followed, light and sharp, too sharp. It didn't sound real. I looked at myself in the mirror. Pale, but steady. If they're planning something, I thought, then I need to play along. I slipped my phone into my back pocket and walked down the stairs like nothing had changed. When I returned to the dining room, 3 pairs of eyes turned toward me. You okay, honey? My mom asked, a trace too much concern laced in her voice. Yeah, just needed a minute, I said with a half smile. Headache. Probably the heat, Dad offered. It's stuffy tonight, Ethan chimed in, not looking up from his phone. Or maybe you're just finally getting old. I chuckled, lightly. It was automatic, but everything inside me was calculating. I sat down. The glass of blueberry lemonade waited quietly beside my plate, still sweating at the sides. Untouched. I made it just like you like it, my mom said, reaching for the serving bowl of potatoes. No sugar substitutes. Real lemon. The good kind. I nodded. Smells amazing. Then I picked up the glass. I tilted it, slowly, watching the ice shift. I brought it to my lips and let it hover, just close enough to look convincing. I tilted it back slightly, then placed it down. Good, I said softly. Just like I remember. None of them looked twice. But I didn't drink a drop. I ate a few bites of food, enough to not look suspicious. And all the while, I could feel their eyes flick toward me, like they were waiting. I needed an excuse, a reason to leave the table without raising alarm. So I asked, casually, was that someone pulling into the driveway just now? They all turned. Ethan craned his neck toward the window. No one out there, he muttered. While they were looking away, I reached beneath the table. Slowly tilted the glass until just a small trickle of lemonade spilled onto the carpet. Just enough to mark it, to explain what would come next. I leaned back in my chair and blinked, slow. I muttered. I feel weird, kind of dizzy. Immediately, my mom stood. Sweetheart, are you okay? My dad was already pulling the extra pillow off the couch. Maybe lie down for a minute. You've been working too hard. Ethan looked up, finally. You want water or something? No, just, maybe a moment. They helped me to the living room like I was made of glass. Like I wasn't someone they were about to steal from. I let my body go limp on the couch. I breathed slowly, deliberately, and then, I closed my eyes. Not to rest, but to listen. The blanket they laid over me was warm, familiar, and suddenly unbearable. I kept my breath steady, my face soft. Like I'd passed out. The quiet in the room shifted. Is she asleep? My mom whispered. Yeah, Ethan replied. She's out. I heard someone crouch beside me. My phone was gently lifted from where I'd slid it under my hip. Then, the next sound. Fingers curling around my hand. They were trying to lift my thumb. My skin tensed, but I didn't move. A pause. Then the faint vibration of the phone unlocking. She still uses fingerprint, my dad muttered. That was easy. My heart was pounding, but I kept still. They started talking faster now, soft but urgent, all three of them. She's got that settlement money saved, Ethan whispered. I've seen her account notifications on the lock screen before. My mom's voice followed. Check notes. She probably stored the routing numbers somewhere. Or in her vault app. I heard swipes, taps, the occasional curse under someone's breath. She made a folder, Ethan said. Here, legal docs. Don't open anything that would alert her, my dad warned. She might have some watchdog app running. Oh please, my mom scoffed. She still trusts us. She doesn't expect this, but she did. I did. The microphone had been on since I stepped out of the bathroom. Quiet, background mode, no blinking light, no app on the screen. Just audio rolling, recording every single word. Found it, Ethan said. There's a saved transfer template. Can we just? No, my mom interrupted. We don't take everything. Just enough to settle the debt. What debt? Ethan asked. My dad spoke then, voice tense. The one you created, son. With that investor. We clean this up before it ruins all of us. So that was it. They were using me to fix his mess. Again. She'll think she sent it herself, my mom said. If it's just a few thousand, and we say it was for a loan or rent or whatever, she'll rationalize it. And if she wakes up? Ethan asked. She won't, my mom replied. She always blacks out after one drink. Remember that New Year's party? A cold knot formed in my stomach. That night, I had passed out after a sip of punch. I thought it was stress, exhaustion. It wasn't. They had tested this before. But then, wait, my dad said. It's asking for a verification code. Two-step? Ethan muttered. She changed it, my mom said, almost annoyed. Try her email. Tapping. Silence. Then. Nope. Nothing works. Damn it. Put the phone back. I heard it placed beside me, like nothing happened. Silence returned. I waited, long enough for them to settle back into their chairs, to believe their plan had failed quietly. Then I opened my eyes. Sat up slowly, blinking like someone who had just come out of a fog. Sorry, I said groggily. Don't know what that was. Felt like I blacked out for a second. Their faces turned toward me, trying to stay neutral. You sure you're okay? My dad asked. I smiled. Yeah, I think I just need some air. But inside me, something had already cracked wide open. I stood up from the couch slowly, stretching just enough to look like someone recovering from a dizzy spell. My phone was still where they'd left it, screen dark, back warm from all their failed attempts. I think I'm gonna head out, I said, my voice quiet but firm. I've got a ton of work early tomorrow. My mom forced a smile. Of course, just let us know when you get home. We'll walk you out, my dad added. No, it's fine, I said quickly. I just need some fresh air and space. They nodded, just like that, no resistance, no guilt trip, almost like they thought they got away with it. I walked to the front door, reached for my jacket, slipped on my shoes slowly, giving my heart a moment to slow down. They followed me anyway. My mom stood behind me, her perfume like a ghost of a different life. My dad hovered to the left. Ethan leaned on the hallway wall, arms crossed. We should do this again, my mom said softly. It's nice, having you home. I turned around, and something in me clenched. They smiled at me like we were still a family. Like nothing happened. Like they hadn't just tried to rob me, violate me, betray me. They smiled like liars do, calmly, gently, rehearsed. I moved forward automatically and hugged each of them. First my mom, then my dad, then Ethan. It wasn't planned. It just happened. Muscle memory. But as I hugged them, I felt it rise in my throat. A tight, painful lump I could barely swallow. This would be the last time. The last time I touched them. The last time I pretended. Because something had snapped, and I wasn't going to fix it this time. You sure you're okay? Ethan asked again. I nodded. Yeah, just tired. I opened the door. The evening air hit me like clarity. Cold, clean, real. Thanks for dinner, I said, smiling as if I hadn't heard every whisper. They smiled back. I stepped out, closed the door behind me, walked down the steps slowly. My car was parked in the same spot it always had been, under the old maple tree. I didn't look back, not once. Inside my coat pocket, I felt the small vibration of my phone finishing the backup of the recording. Every word captured, every attempt documented, but that wasn't the part that gave me peace. What gave me peace was knowing that I didn't scream, didn't accuse, didn't let them know I knew. I let them believe they were still smarter than me. Because people like them, selfish, coordinated, transactional, never see the quiet ones coming. And when the reckoning does come, they never think it's fair. As I started the car and pulled away from the curb, I didn't feel sadness. Not regret, just something sharper, clean, final. I didn't drive home. Instead, I took the long way east, across the bridge into the city, where the skyline shimmered just enough to feel impersonal. The police station sat across from an empty parking garage and a shuttered deli. The kind of place you wouldn't notice unless you were looking for it. I parked, walked up the steps. My body felt steady, like I was walking towards something I'd rehearsed 1,000 times. Inside, the fluorescent lights hummed faintly overhead. I stood in line behind a man paying a traffic ticket. The clerk behind the glass tapped slowly at her keyboard. When it was my turn, I stepped forward. I need to report a crime, I said. She looked up. What kind? I met her eyes. Drugging and attempted financial theft. She blinked. Do you know who did it? Yes, I said calmly. My parents. And my brother. That was the last time she blinked for a while. They brought me into a small room with old tile and a rattling HVAC vent. A younger officer, maybe early 30s, sat across from me, a notepad in hand. He didn't ask why I hadn't cried, or screamed, or gone to the hospital. He just listened. I told him what happened. Showed him the recording, clean audio, clear voices. I walked him through the sequence of events, even the spill under the table to fake dizziness. I showed him the failed login attempts on my banking app, all timestamped within the same hour. I explained that I worked in cybersecurity, that I'd seen enough insider exploitation cases to know how fast family could become risk. He listened to the whole thing. Then finally, he said, "You do realize what they were trying to do, right?" "Yes," I replied. "They were trying to steal from me. Using my body to do it." I forwarded him the audio. Sent the screen captures. Everything logged, clean and traceable. He didn't respond for a moment. Just kept typing into a system that looked like it hadn't been updated since the early 2000s. Then he said, "This is serious." I nodded. It was. He asked if I had a safe place to stay. I told him I did. Asked if I wanted to press charges. "Yes," I said, not because I wanted revenge, but because it had to stop. They didn't get arrested that night. It took a couple of days. But once the forensic tech confirmed the fingerprint access, the banking timestamps, and the audio, the district attorney filed charges. Attempted financial fraud, unauthorized use of biometric data, conspiracy to commit a felony, administering a substance without consent. All three of them. Together. They didn't deny it, not when the detective said, "We can handle this the easy way." And even when they pled guilty and got no jail time, just probation, fines, and a no-contact order, it still felt like justice. Because now, for once, they couldn't reach me. Not through my bank, not through guilt, not through blood. 2 days after the charges were filed, my phone buzzed nonstop. A message from my mom. "Did you actually report your own family?" Then another. "What is wrong with you?" I didn't answer. A voicemail from Ethan came next. His voice cracked near the end. "It was just a mistake. You made it worse than it had to be." A call from my dad followed. I let it go to voicemail. "You think the cops will fix this?" He snapped. "You're destroying everything. You don't do this to your own people." I responded once. Just one line. "You drugged me. You tried to rob me. That's not family. That's a felony." Then I blocked all of them. Mom, Dad, Ethan, group chats, emergency bypass contacts, everything. I changed my number, froze my credit, rewrote my will. It should have hurt more than it did. But instead of grief, I felt stillness. Like the noise had finally stopped. They didn't contest the charges. Not after the audio. Not after the digital logs. Not after the DA outlined the case in a way even they couldn't twist. They got probation, a year each, fines, community service. A court-issued no-contact order with my name on it. But the real loss? That came later. Word travels. A cousin mentioned my parents had sold the house. Legal fees, debt, reputation unraveling. No one in the family reached out. Just silence. The kind that follows embarrassment, not injustice. As for Ethan, I saw him once. It was a Tuesday morning, weeks after everything. I was picking up groceries. He was stocking shelves across the aisle, wearing a red vest, head down. He didn't look up, or maybe he did, but he didn't turn. I didn't say a word. The career in finance? Gone. His name was flagged in every internal database in the sector. And Nate? He messaged me once. Just 2 words. "I'm sorry." I didn't need more. He'd already done enough by speaking up when no one else would. Now, I sleep through the night. My apartment is quiet. My fridge is full. Every item inside was bought by me, for me. No more random bank withdrawals. No more guilt wrapped in family obligation. Just space, silence, stability, and peace. They taught me what love wasn't. They taught me that some betrayals come dressed as Sunday dinner and blueberry lemonade. But most importantly, they taught me that I didn't owe anyone access just because we shared blood. Sometimes, love isn't forgiveness. Sometimes, love is protection. Sometimes, love is distance. And the greatest revenge was choosing to never go back.